Listen, you already know whenever the Broncos and Chiefs meet, the stakes are higher than a typical Sunday. But this one? It actually feels different. For Kansas City fans, this isn't just another division tilt. If the Chiefs don't get this one, the door to the AFC West snaps shut a lot faster. That's the kind of pressure that makes even practice feel like game day. And that's what we're unpacking right now. First, let's set the scene. The Chiefs are coming off a bye, and you want urgency, right? A bye gives you rest. It gives you prep time. And for a team that hasn't been firing on all cylinders, it's a chance to fix what's broken. The Broncos? They've been a disruptive sack-heavy defense this year, a unit that's been living in opposing backfields. You've seen the headlines. They get after the quarterback, and they create game-changing plays. So when Mahomes faces a team that can collapse the pocket and force quick reads, this game becomes chess at a speed you feel in your bones. But don't let the Broncos' defensive rep make you panic. Remember who's under center for the Chiefs. Mahomes is at his best when he's got his back against the wall. And you've seen him turn late-game pressure into moments of absolute magic. The question we have to ask is simple. Can the Chiefs protect long enough to get the ball where it needs to go? And can your weapons, Kelce, Rice, Simmons, whoever's protecting the edge, win the individual fights that decide those 2 to 3 critical drives? Here's what I want from you right now. Tell me in the comments, do you think the Chiefs can handle Denver's rush and win the division? Hit yes or no, and explain in one line. Also, we're chasing a channel milestone. We want to hit 6,000 subscribers. If you've been watching and haven't pressed subscribe, do it now and ring the bell so you don't miss the post-game breakdown. Your support literally helps get more detailed breakdowns and extra clips for you. Quick preview. In the next chapter, I'll break down how the offense must respond to pressure, what plays Reid should lean on, and why one protection call could decide this whole game. For now, breathe, stay confident, and let's get ready. Because this one's built for drama. When you look at this matchup on paper, the entire game swings on one core battle. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense against Denver's pass rush and their rebuilt secondary. You don't need me to tell you that the Broncos have been racking up sacks at a pace we haven't seen in decades. 46 sacks through 10 weeks is outrageous. That's the kind of pressure that ruins drives, changes field position, and forces quarterbacks into turnovers. And you know how much that matters when you're on the road in Denver. So the first question we need to answer is simple. Can the Chiefs keep Mahomes upright long enough for this offense to function? The return of Josh Simmons at left tackle is huge. Not just helpful huge, season-defining huge. Because without him, the Chiefs have been patching the edge with backups and hoping Mahomes can Houdini his way out of pressure. With Simmons back, at least you've got someone who can anchor against pure speed rushers like Nick Bonitto, who's sitting at 9.5 sacks and playing like he's allergic to giving quarterbacks space. Now here's where things get interesting. Even when teams pressure Mahomes, he has a counterpunch. Most quarterbacks don't. He can change arm angles, throw while drifting, and get the ball out even when the pocket is collapsing. Broncos defenders talked about it this week. They said it feels like plays never end when Mahomes is in them. That's the exact reason Kansas City still has the edge in big moments. But to take advantage of that gift, you need receivers who are exactly where they're supposed to be. This is where Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy come into the conversation. Rice's return has completely shifted the way defenses cover Kansas City. With him back, Worthy has been quieter. Not because he's not open, but because coverages have tilted to stop quick-hitting plays that Rice dominates. Denver has been excellent against the pass, but they haven't faced this version of the Chiefs' offense all season. A rested Mahomes, a healthy Rice, a left tackle back in place, and 2 weeks of Andy Reid scheming. What I expect Reid to do early is simple. Force Denver to declare their intentions. Quick passes, moving pockets, screens, and shallows. crossers to Kelce. Once the Broncos start trying to jump those, then you hit them with the shot plays, the deep over routes, the worthy speed threats, and the second reaction scramble drills that no defense in the league can fully stop. Let me throw something your way right now. Who do you trust more in this matchup? Mahomes improvising against pressure, or Denver's defensive front seven that's been feasting all year? Drop your answer in the comments. And while you're there, hit like if you want a full film breakdown later this week of how Kelce matches up with Dre Greenlaw, because that battle is going to decide third down all game long. Take a second, subscribe if you haven't already. We're pushing hard to hit 6,000 subscribers. Every single sub moves this channel forward. Let's get into the names that truly decide this matchup, because games like this never come down to entire units. They come down to 4 or 5 guys who tilt the field. And when the Chiefs face the Broncos, the spotlight is as bright as it gets. Let's start where everything starts. Patrick Mahomes. You already know the deal. Mahomes in must-win games is a different animal. The Broncos' defense will hunt him, they'll hit him, they'll try to make him uncomfortable from the first snap. But Mahomes has played some of his best football when Denver brings pressure. His ability to extend plays isn't just talent, it's problem-solving in real time. If Mahomes controls the pace, even under heat, Kansas City controls the game. Next is Travis Kelce. Denver fans love to tell you they have the Kelce kryptonite in Dre Greenlaw. Sure, Greenlaw has had moments against him, but that was years ago in a completely different situation. The truth is simple. If Kelce wins one-on-ones on third down, Kansas City wins drives. He doesn't have to drop 90 yards, he just has to move the chains and force Denver out of their exotic pressure looks. If the Chiefs get early efficiency from Kelce, everything else opens up. Then there's Rashee Rice. His return changed everything for this offense. While he hasn't been perfect, his presence forces defenses to respect the short area, and that's exactly where Mahomes thrives when the pocket gets tight. Rice is the release valve. If Denver tries to bracket Kelce, Rice becomes the engine of the quick game. Watch for him on slants, drags, and screens designed to punish over-aggressive edge rushers. Don't forget Xavier Worthy. Quiet recently, yes, but that's why he's dangerous. This is the type of game where one deep shot flips momentum. Worthy's speed forces Denver to back off, even if the ball doesn't go his way for most of the night. One mistake from the secondary, one free play, one extended Mahomes rollout, and Worthy becomes the nightmare matchup. On the offensive line, Josh Simmons is the unsung X-factor. His return at left tackle stabilizes everything. If he can just play solid, not spectacular, the Chiefs can call a real playbook instead of survival mode. His battle with Nick Bonitto is one of the most important one-on-ones of the entire week. Defensively, keep your eyes on Chris Jones. Denver wants Bo Nix to play confidently, but Nix hasn't seen Jones in full playoff mode intensity. Jones wrecks timing. He destroys early reads. And if he forces Nix into third and long situations, the advantage swings heavily toward Kansas City. Now I want to hear from you. Who do you think is the real X-factor in this game? Mahomes? Kelce? Rice? Worthy? Someone on defense? Drop their name in the comments so we know who you're betting on to swing this matchup. Before we move on, take a second to subscribe. We're pushing that 6,000 subscriber milestone, and your support keeps these deep dive breakdowns coming. All right, now the part every fan thinks about the morning after. Who walks out of this with momentum? And who has to answer some uncomfortable questions? Let's break this down cleanly so you can pick a side and argue it in the comments. If the Chiefs win. A Chiefs win here does more than keep a streak alive. It restores belief. After a bye, a victory against a defense like Denver's tells the locker room and the league that Kansas City still knows how to win the hard way. Playoff seeding looks cleaner, pressure on Andy Reid eases, And Mahomes gets that confidence reset we all want to see before November turns into December. Practically speaking, a win cements the Chiefs as favorites in the division and gives the offense a blueprint. Use quick passing to neutralize the rush. Target Kelce and Rice in short to intermediate windows, and trust Simmons to slow down the edge rush. Who's a winner if KC takes it? Mahomes and Kelce, obviously. They get the narrative reset. Josh Simmons gets credit for stabilizing the blind side. The offensive line collective earns runway to call more creative plays. Even a backup or depth player who makes a big play becomes a locker room hero and gets more reps going forward. If the Chiefs lose, this loss is not fatal, but it's loud. A defeat here forces real questions. Can this offense handle elite pressure without consistent protection? Do you pivot the play calling toward quicker releases, or do you double down on the deep shot and hope for turnovers? A loss hands Denver control of a portion of the division narrative and forces Kansas City into a reactionary posture for at least a week. Momentum swings toward Denver, and it puts a magnifying glass on the offensive line and play calling. Who's a loser if KC falls? The line gets roasted on social media and in the press. Andy Reid's conservative or questionable adjustments in-game will be scrutinized. And if Mahomes struggles under duress, the chatter about can this version of the Chiefs win late in the season resurfaces. Depth players who fail to step up will see fewer snaps, and the narrative shifts from veteran leaders to team in need of answers. Short-term roster and staff consequences. Quick scenarios. If Chiefs win convincingly, roster stability. No panic moves. Continue rolling with the main unit and focus on health. If Chiefs win narrowly, small tweaks. More protection for Mahomes, minor schematic adjustments. If Chiefs lose narrowly, possible lineup changes on the edge, increased reps for backups on third down, and a louder push for schematic innovation from the coaching staff. If Chiefs lose badly, media cycle heats up, calls for lineup changes increase, and the front office will quietly evaluate depth options before the next bye. Now I want you to do two things. First, vote in the comments. If the Chiefs lose, should Reid change the game plan versus pass rush? Yes or no? Second, tell me who you think becomes the biggest winner or loser from this matchup. Name and one sentence why. Before we move to the final chapter with my bold score prediction and closing, remember the channel goal. We're pushing for 6,000 subscribers. If you're enjoying these deep breakdowns, smash subscribe and hit the bell. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these post-game breakdowns coming. All right, time to close this out clean and loud. Here's the short version. This game comes down to two things. Can the Chiefs protect Mahomes long enough to run their offense cleanly? And can Kansas City force Denver into predictable coverage so the deep shots matter less than the short to intermediate game? If those two things happen, Kansas City wins. If they don't, Denver's pressure turns this into a slog, and the Broncos walk away with momentum. My final score prediction: Chiefs 27, Broncos 20. Why? A few quick reasons. Josh Simmons stabilizes the left side enough to remove constant blindside chaos. Mahomes, when forced, still finds ways to extend plays and hit Kelce or Rice in rhythm. Reid leans into quick passing early to sap the Denver rush, then opens up the field in the second half. Denver will make life uncomfortable and get a few sacks, but not enough to stop the Chiefs from scoring on a handful of efficient drives. Here's the game plan takeaway for you as a fan. Expect a tense first half, gritty third-quarter adjustments, and a late drive that decides it. If you want to be dramatic like me, mark your calendar for the post-game winners chart losers. I'll be breaking down every matchup and calling out the real X factors. Before I go, 2 asks. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're pushing hard to hit $6,000 subscribers, and your support directly helps get more film breakdowns and quicker post-game reactions. Also, smash that like if you enjoyed this breakdown.